And we all know I don't read directions. I get nervous when I don't see all of my babies. And y'all can explain it to me if you like to, but I'm telling you right now, I'm just not good at it. This is finally getting better. I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit later about them chickens. Look at this pretty little thing. Like the bees when food with the hornets. Thinking about doing a meetup. I think it would be really cool. Oh, you wanna see something? And I just knew something was biting me. Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia, and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my backyard. I wanna show y'all something. So y'all know I talked about how I could not find the drain on this planter. Today though, I was just like, they're saying there's a drain. There has to be a drain. I was doing this and then I was like, I need to be recording anyway. And because I showed you all this and then I kept saying I don't have a drain, I feel like it's very important that I come back and tell you that I do have a drain. This is the Vevor pot that had the trellis on it for tomatoes. It never dawned on me, y'all. And we all know I don't read directions. It is important to read the directions, but I'm gonna show you real quick. So if you were interested in it and my review of it made you say no, God, hold on. Okay, so I flipped it over because I was like, there has to be a drain on here. Everybody's saying there's a drain, right? And so this piece right here has holes in it. Right here, it has holes in it. But you have to pull this piece out. If you don't pull this piece out, it's not gonna drain. But there is in fact a drain in here. So there you have it right there. Because what I was gonna do is put it in the greenhouse. I was like, okay, I put it in the greenhouse, that way it won't get rained in. But now I'm gonna leave it out here. I'm not planting anything in it now, but I wanted to come back and let y'all know. There is in fact a drain on that pot. So next year, I'm really going to use this. Now that I know there is a drain, I just wasn't doing it right. Next year, I will make sure to use this pot for a tomato. The one that's in there is pretty much done for the year because it's set in water because I couldn't find the drain or didn't realize it. Definitely could have read the directions. Okay, so what are we doing today? It is fertilization day. We are going to use the Comfrey tea that was darker. I did a little bit of research and a lot of the research said do 1 to 90, but I also went back and watched one of Hugh Richards' older videos. And so he said, you know, the longer you let it sit, of course, you need to dilute it a little more. So I'm going to do 2 gallons of water. Well, I'm gonna use a 2-gallon watering can and I'm just gonna put a half a cup into that because this has been sitting for at least I think 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember exactly how long. I did not put a lot of water into the bucket in the first place, but I did put a good amount of plant matter in it and it's very dark. I have no idea what my chickens are doing, but it's like they're fighting. I don't see anyone fighting. They're making a lot of noise and nobody's laying except for one. But it wasn't even a laying noise that I heard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also, somebody's not out here, but she could be inside. Oh, she's dust bathing. Y'all, I got nervous. She's over there dust bathing. Can y'all see her? I hope y'all can see her. I get nervous when I don't see all of my babies. So we're gonna do a 2-gallon pot. I'm going to put the half of a cup in and then I'm gonna put the water in. We have not had rain and I don't know how long. And I don't want to keep running back and forth to the trash cans over behind the roses. So we're just gonna use city water today. But it is fertilization day and I will have fertilized 2 weeks in a row. That's exciting for me. And once we finish fertilizing, I'm gonna show you guys the progress. We're not doing a full garden tour because it is about 2 o'clock. I have to pick my daughter up at 3. And then I gotta help her clean her room because y'all, not that y'all care about that, but I want to kind of but I do want to show y'all the progress because while from like the far away eye it doesn't look like a lot of progress, it is progress being made out here in this garden. Okay, also with the Comfrey fertilizer, as I understand it, if it is too strong it can burn the roots, and so I'm starting with a half a cup to 2 gallons and then I'm just gonna try to watch and see what happens. I'm gonna try not to get it on the leaves. It can be foliar fed to your plants. However, it could burn them. And so I'm not gonna foliar feed, although foliar feeding would probably really help them, but you gotta really dilute it correctly, and I don't want to stunt them any more than they already are from the season. So I'm definitely just gonna do it to the roots. But yes, you can foliar feed, but you do have to make sure that you have a good ratio so that you don't burn the roots or the leaves of the plant. And so, as I said, I'm gonna watch the plants to see if I see any kind of changes. Not just bad changes, good changes as well. So let me tell y'all something about me. I'm not good at math, right? So when they start saying 1:5 ratio and all of that stuff, and y'all can explain it to me if you like to, but I'm telling you right now, I'm just not good at it. So I made a decision. I made a decision on what I was gonna do. And so I'm gonna do, because it's so potent. I've done it before, but it's never been that potent. So my decision was 1/2 cup. I will watch it this week, see what kind of changes, whether they're good or they're bad changes. And if like it doesn't look like a big change, then maybe I'll go up to 3/4 of a cup or something like that. So that's what we're gonna do. That's how I'm planning to do it, because math is just not my strong suit, and I'm okay with that. And I did not water this morning because nothing looks like it needs to be watered. And so I don't want to over water because I'm about to fertilize. Like I said, you do want moist soil when you fertilize, but you also don't want to be over watering because you're about to fertilize. If the soil is already moist, let it be and fertilize. So the other thing is, at this point, everything is pretty much mulched, and so I'm not gonna have to water as much as I used to, because mulch keeps the soil moist. It also you know, keeps the sun off of the soil. So that's another thing. So I did not water this morning. I'm simply going to fertilize. Okay, so everything is now fertilized. I'm very excited. So here's the thing. In case you're new and you're not sure what comfrey is, I'm going to show you. Comfrey is a plant that has a very deep taproot, and as I understand it, it can reach minerals and nutrition in the soil that other plants can't reach. And so that's one of the reasons why it's used to fertilize. And I use it as a liquid fertilizer, but you can just pull the leaves off and lay it around a plant. I hear it's good to do that around trees. I have mine growing around trees, and then I have one that's in a bucket. And that's only because I have not moved it. I absolutely need to, I just haven't. But let me show you what comfrey looks like. Oh, the other thing is it can spread. It is a spreader. There is a variety or cultivar, I think is what it's called, that spreads, and then there is a hybrid that does not. So these are the leaves that I'm using to make that fertilizer. So this is what comfrey looks like. Mine are pretty small right now, but they go all the way down. And I did not plant to all of these. I definitely think that they spread, which is fine by me. It's over in what is my orchard area. And I have more over here as well. Hope y'all can see it, the sun. But I have more over here as well. And so that is what I'm using to fertilize with. I normally use fish emulsion. I'm a big fan of fish emulsion. I said that before. However, I'm trying to learn to fertilize my garden with what I have and what I'm growing. And as that stands, comfrey is what I'm using. But I was also watching a video, and Broke talks about it a lot. I think Calvin talks about it when they're having their conversations, like just putting weeds in a bucket with some water and allowing those weeds to break down the same way we're letting the comfrey break down, and it will do the same thing. And you can use that to fertilize your garden. And so next year, that's one of the things I'm gonna do too. Now we put all this wood, all this wood chip down everywhere, so I don't know how many weeds I'm going to have, but when I do see them, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get more buckets and put them over there. As the season goes along, I'm gonna harvest my comfrey way more than I did this year, put it in buckets so that I can have it for when it's not growing. And mine does die back in the cold seasons. I'm in 7B in Virginia, and so we can get into the teens. We rarely get into single digits, but we do. So it does grow back, but it is perennial. and it will come back every year. And in the summer, they are huge. They are big plants that I just did not harvest, right? And so just kind of talking about like what I plan to do as far as fertilizing. Like I said, we're doing a 1/2 cup right now to a 2-gallon waterer. If I see, you know, like significant growth in things, I'll leave it with that. If I see that the plants start to struggle, then we'll take it down a little bit. And if I don't see much change, then I'll take it up a little bit. I think I mentioned that I learned by doing. And so people left a lot of good comments too. And like I had said, when I used that Comfrey that was in the blue bucket, I knew it didn't look right, the Comfrey tea. So I just think I didn't put enough in it. But true story, I could add it over into the other bucket and then it could start to, you know, mix in with that. So let's talk about what has changed. It may not look like a big change to you, but I see it every day and I'm like, okay, this is finally getting better. My hard work is finally paying off. When I say hard work, the hard work I started doing just recently, because before now, we all know I wasn't doing much. So let's first look at the cabbages. So these are the cabbages. I think I showed it last week in a video, and look at that. Like, this is new leaves. Of course, you still have the ones that are torn up. In a few, maybe a week or two, I'll probably start to pull these off and give them to the chickens, because we have a good amount of new leaves now that will continue to allow the plant to photosynthesize. So that's the one that's in the middle. And this is the first bed when you come into the garden that I'm showing you right now. And so this is the other cabbage. And so we finally have new leaves that are looking good. I am rarely seeing worms right now. Caterpillars. I am rarely seeing the white moth caterpillar. It's not a worm. So I'm rarely seeing caterpillars at this point. And I'm excited about that. I am still coming and I am still checking. Even the caterpillar that was on that snapdragon, it's gone. I don't know where it went to. That snapdragon is starting to throw out a lot of new shoots. I'm very excited about that. So here's the thing. I am just trying to get these plants established to make it through winter. As I said before, it is quite possible that I will not get a harvest between now and like, let's say February. But if I can get them established and strong enough to make it through winter, then I will get a spring harvest from these vegetables. Let's now look at the Brussels sprouts. Very nice. Like a lot of new leaves. I could probably start pulling off the old leaves now because the new leaves look really good. And let me show you something. Do y'all see the little Brussels sprouts trying to grow in here? Like, they're starting. Now, do I think I'm gonna get a Brussels sprout harvest? I'm not sure. Brussels sprouts are very long growing plants. They are also very heavy feeders, and for the beginning part of their life, I was not feeding them, but I'm still gonna give them a chance. They're still looking amazing. Let me show you the collard trees. And so this is just something I left to see what would happen, and I was correct. I am getting small leaves on this, and so they can still be used in salads. They can still be used as a saute. I'm not gonna make a pot of greens with them, but it's still food. So you see that? This is the one that we left. I never did cut the top. I do need to, but look at that. Now, I don't know what happened with this one. Oh, I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit later about them chickens. But that's the other one right there. And that has also grown new leaves out of it. And if y'all remember, those were simply stalks. I had pulled all the leaves off and I just left the stalk. And so it is growing new leaves, and I would venture to say maybe if I was fertilizing the way that I was supposed to, those leaves might be bigger. We may start to see that they're gonna get bigger, but it's just a process that we're going through right now in my garden, and I'm fine with it. It is fine. Okay, this pak choy, I honestly don't remember anymore. There is some type of nutritional issue with them. So they are growing back, right? But that purple tells me there's some type of nutritional issue. So I'm hoping that as we start to fertilize like we should, that we see less and less of this. There isn't much on this one, but there is some, if you can see that. These don't look as purple, And we have the nice new leaves coming in the middle. So yeah, I was growing those for my sister. She asked me the other day, she said, did the bugs eat my bok choy? I said, yes. Oh, let me show you kohlrabi. Look at that. It's growing. It's getting bigger. And this one was a pretty eaten up one as well. We got leaves growing. But yeah, we're going to harvest that before spring. That one, yeah, it's gonna harvest before spring. We just gonna keep feeding it because it should get bigger. I've grown it several years and it should get bigger, but for now we just gonna keep fertilizing it and see what happens. Oh, I know what I wanted to show y'all. That is that broccoli plant that was nothing but sticks. You see them leaves coming in the inside? Completely and utterly excited. So listen, you grow broccoli, that's tough. You grow broccoli for the head, right? But broccoli leaves are also edible. I am not a super fan of broccoli leaves. I am a fan of eating green leafy vegetables. Because my garden is looking the way that it is, I can still eat the leaves from the broccoli. And so with that being said, that's not going to be a complete loss if they start to get bigger and that plant starts to get stronger. Even if I don't get a head, I can eat the leaves and I more than likely will get side shoots. All right, so the kale. This one is starting to really look like a kale plant. We're loving that for me. This one is also the one that was just kind of sticks, and so we got leaves coming. Same thing with that one. We got leaves coming. And so the thing with kale is it's very cold hardy. So if I can get it to, you know, a nice strength where the roots are in the ground, it is established, that kale is gonna go all the way through spring for me. And that's what I'm hoping for. And all of the purple kale also now have leaves, even the little one over there. And so one of the reasons why I kind of knew that it was gonna bounce back, I was going to start seeing growth, is because at a point, well, for one, I just usually leave my stuff. That's gonna be number one. Number two though, I used to just cut my plants at the base. That's what people say. But for my garden and my garden beds, it caused them to be root bound. So I pulled them out now. But before I was doing that, I would cut it down. And then when it got warmer, it would start to grow back. The brassicas will do that. So just letting you know. Look at this pretty little thing. It's just one little echinacea that don't want to go nowhere. I think it's so cute though. That little plant, echinacea, is perennial. It'll come back every year. But yeah, this one is just reminding me that ain't nothing wrong, girl. You got this. And I see bees on it all the time. We only got about 2 or 3 to be out here, but I see them on there all the time. Update on the snapdragons that, you know, we say, oh, no, that's not a bee. There's a hornet. Like the bees went food with the hornets. Anyway, oh, by the way, the hornet reminded me because I met 3 subscribers this weekend, Celeste, Rachel, and Javon, when I was giving out strawberries. And so the strawberries are gone at this point. So I met them this weekend. They were so nice. I absolutely loved it. They said we should do a meetup, and I'm not against that. I think it's a great idea. So I'm thinking about it, trying to figure out what that would look like for a meetup with us. But it was so nice to meet them this weekend. It's birds. Y'all see all them birds? Oh, they gone. What am I showing you all? Anyway, squirrel, but actually just birds. So it was really nice to meet them. But while we were out standing in the parking lot talking, and we stayed out there for quite some time talking, it was a hornet that would not leave us alone, and that made me think of it. So it was really nice to meet y'all. I hope I get to meet more of you all. Like I said, thinking about doing a meetup. I think it would be really cool. But back to the snapdragons. They are getting so much stronger. I can't wait for next spring. This whole bed is gonna be full of just beautiful snapdragons. They're even branching out. Like, they're still small, but they're even branching out. And like I said, I'm gonna start treating the flower bed less of like a place that I don't really take care of and more of like a garden bed. So that's what we're gonna do. Oh, you wanna see something? Just look what we have here. And there's more than just that one. There are quite a few. Those are my peas. They are finally going up the trellis. I am finally getting flowers. We love it. We absolutely love it. And one thing I can say, these plants are green. So I know that they can make it. I just have to keep taking care of them. They're green, they're not yellow. The plants are green. Let me tell you about my chickens. So we all know, and it's my fault, that the door is broken. I have not fixed the door yet. Right now, this is what I'm doing. Cause listen, I had to do something. I had to do something. Anywho, if you follow me on Instagram, you know they got out. They got out, and what we lost. We lost. Or I don't want to say lost. We got knocked back quite a bit on all of the cabbages over in this bed. This is the bed with this trellis beside that Vigo garden bed. We lost all of the cabbage in the bed. Got knocked back. The cabbage got knocked back. They also got to this bed. And you know, this was one of the cabbages that was looking a bit better than everything else. But they got this whole entire bed. Now, these are broccoli. We got, see those little leaves coming out of it. They already look like this long before the chickens got in it. But yeah, they got into that bed. Also kind of trampled over the strawberries, so that's tough, right? On a brighter note, my dog was out here with them, and she did not hurt any of them. I don't know how long they were out here. She was out here. I also put the other gorilla cart in the front of the garden, and yes, I absolutely need to fix the gate. The door, yellow door, Urban Homestead. People are asking, like, how did I come up with my name? I think I've said it a few times, but get new people. So I came up with my name because this garden had a yellow door when I originally started it. The door broke and I never fixed it. And so that's where Yellow Door Urban Homestead comes from. But they got out, and yeah, they ate things, they trampled things, they pushed soil back, and the wood chips over by their enclosure absolutely now has to be like pushed back down and spread again, because they dug through that. They just dug through everything, y'all. But that happened. Oh, I want to show y'all the nasturtiums. So if y'all remember the last time I don't know if we did a garden tour, if I was just kind of talking, the nasturtiums looked very yellow. They still look a little light green, but not yellow. Let me show you. So, see, they're looking much greener now. They're looking much greener now. So I would venture to say, even though I diluted that Comfrey fertilizer the last time, so they probably didn't, the plants probably didn't get all the nutrients they could have gotten, but it helped a little bit because these were yellow. I hope it was showing up on the camera that they're like a light green, but they are not yellow. They're also not laying on the ground, they're standing up. And so, I mean, it's just a process. It is all in learning. It is also, what is that? A big old caterpillar on the back of that. I gotta get that. It's not just a normal one though. Y'all see it through the thing. I'm gonna step on that one. I don't touch it. Not gonna touch that one. But I'm gonna come back and get it. But I think that even though it was already diluted, I diluted it more. I think that it did help some. I really do. Also, point out that the grass has definitely, well, you know, where I put the deader grass, where I put the dry grass on the beds, it has definitely helped hold in the moisture. I have not watered, I think, I don't want to say the last time I watered, but it's been a while because the sprinkler isn't even attached to the water hose anymore right now. So let me show you the carrots. They're looking good. Like I said, I told you they would start to stand back up after a while, and they have, so they're looking really good. We're gonna leave them as long as we can because we want to actually get some carrots, but their, you know, stalks are looking really good right now, so we might get carrots. As it relates to the things in the bags, they're just growing. No issues, no nothing. Like, they're just growing. We're not getting any cabbage moths, caterpillars, or anything like that on there. They're just growing. And for that, I am grateful. I am so grateful. The moringa trees, I do believe I'm going to move them into the greenhouse like today because I think it's getting too cold. So I'm starting to see a lot of yellowing And like I said, I haven't watered in a while, so I don't think that it's a watering issue, and it has not rained in a while either. I think that at night it may be getting too cold for them, so I'm gonna put them in the greenhouse. We're actually going in the greenhouse today. I have 3 bags that are back behind the roselle right here. And they don't do well back here. I normally put tomatoes in it, or maybe even peppers sometimes. But I also normally plant roselle right there. So they don't get a lot of sun. So those are the bags that we're gonna dump into the smaller raised bed that's in the greenhouse. And then I'm not going to replant anything in that raised bed right now. What I'm gonna do is fertilize it with some granulated fertilizer. There are already plants in there. We're gonna leave those. We're not gonna plant anything else because I want that to be a medicinal herb bed. So we will do that next year when it's time to plant. But those bags, I'm just gonna dump them over into there because I'm not gonna put plants back there next year. The plants have never really done that well back there, and so I don't want to keep, you know, kind of using my energy to try to grow them back there if they're not gonna grow. And I can use those stakes to stake up the roselle like I did after Helene came through. So I think that's about it. I do want to, I went back and looked through my comments because I'm going to do a Q&A video soon, probably sometime this week. One of the comments, and the person has asked a couple times, they're asking what happened to the ginger. I pulled the ginger last year when I grew it. So that's what happened to the ginger plant. And then this year, I tried to put it into this small greenhouse and it kept getting blown over, and so I did not grow ginger this year. I will absolutely grow ginger next year, and I will grow it in a bag. It'll be one of the plants that I put into the greenhouse like I'm gonna do this year. Oh, other thing, I was watching Jacques in the garden. I think that's his name. He's a part of Epic Homesteading, and he is overwintering eggplant too. So we are gonna try to overwinter eggplant. And I still have, with my Bootstrap Farmer kit that I got, I still have the larger pots, and I think that's what I'm going to try and overwinter everything in, the larger pots. They won't take up a lot of space. I don't think that they will need a lot of water. I mean, overwintering, you don't need a lot of water anyway, but I think that's gonna work. So I do believe those are all of the updates I wanted to give you all. Oh, one more thing. Do y'all remember when we harvested the lemon balm and I said we would come back before the frost hit to get more? I haven't gotten more, and I also need to harvest some sage because I want to make a tincture out of that. But let me show you this lemon balm. Look at that. Bushed right back out, and I put it over where it could get more sun, and it looks amazing. As much as I like lemon balm, I really want to put it in the ground, but as I understand it, it is a part of the mint family, and mint spreads terribly. So that's why that's going to always stay in that pot. But I may grow another one in another pot because I do want more lemon balm. But like I said, that's where we are with the garden. Just like a short look around, a weekly look around. I don't want to do a full garden tour because I do think my garden is looking nice enough for that. But I do want to show you all the progress. So right now we're gonna go over into the greenhouse. Like I said, we're gonna put the moringa plants over into the greenhouse. I'm gonna leave them in the bags that they're in. I'm not gonna do like I'm gonna do with the peppers and the eggplant. I'm gonna leave them in the bag, put them in there, hope they continue to grow. You want to know what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a dry run. We had a 39-degree night last night, and I should have tried it then, but I'm gonna do a dry run of heating the greenhouse overnight and see what temperature difference I get. So I'm gonna try that the next 30-degree night, so I'll let y'all know how that goes. But let us head on over here into this greenhouse and fix this bed up, move these moringa, and then I'm gonna go in. I did end up having to leave to go get my daughter, but I have given her instructions so she should be getting her room cleaned at this point, and I will go in to help her. But also, speaking of the greenhouse, I am already in here. Look at those plants, looking amazing. They look absolutely amazing, and they are growing nicely. I'm very happy about that. My strawberries still going through a little bit of shock, but they're still there. They're still alive, still excited about that. So, you know, next year I'm pretty sure we'll be fine with these strawberries. The pot's still heavy, so that means they have enough moisture. So I feel good about them. There they are. Still going through a little bit of shock, but I'm okay with that. So we got them in here. So now you can see where I was saying we're getting like some yellowing. That is what I was talking about. So I brought them in here because I feel like it'll be warmer at night, even without the greenhouse being heated right now. And let's make sure we save them. We may even need to do something staking wise with them. I did just fertilize them too, so the soil is a little bit moist. So we may need to stake those too. But right now, we're gonna grab these bags, pour this soil in there, put some fertilizer in it, and then I'm also going to start watering that bed like daily for a while to see what I can do, because I really do want to grow in that bed. Like I said, I think it is a combination of me not taking care of it, but I also think something just was not right with that soil that I had used, the soil and the compost, honestly. And now this is a little dry. That's tough. That's a bunch of roots, which since it's gonna kind of live, like this is hyssop, I think. No, that wasn't hyssop. I don't remember what it was, but girl, I'm gonna leave this on the top because it will break down because we are not gonna use this bed. I'm also gonna leave the tags that are in here in case it comes back up next year. I'll still know what it is. Like this is plantain, that's stinging nettle, that's St. John's wort, stinging nettle there. There was true hyssop here, lovage here. This was wormwood. So we're just gonna do this. Oh, there was a worm in that bag, really nice. Oh, there was a few worms in that bag. So now they'll come over here into this soil, which we love. We need that. We need some activity in this soil. I do honestly believe that. So I'm gonna go grab the other bag. The other thing I'm gonna do in this bed is I still have a little bit of grass left, and I'm gonna put that grass over top of this bed too, because I'm not gonna use it. I'm just gonna prepare it essentially. I don't want to touch that stinging nettle, babe. I should have had my glove, because it does sting. There's worms in this too. Love it when I love to see a worm. So everything over here was perennial, so I am adding soil to the bed. I believe it'll still come up next year if it did not completely die this year. So next year I'm hopeful that I will have done well enough in the off season to take care of it, and it'll pop up next year. And there's still space in here for other things to be grown. And you know, that's what we did over here. And it worked out really well for me. So I do believe it'll work over here as well. I probably could get that other bag though. I'm just gonna do it. I mean, I think the more worms for sure I can introduce to that bed, they'll probably get in there and start breaking up the soil. That is what I'm hoping for. And the bags were taken care of very nicely during the summer. So I think that it will give good nutrition to that bed and to that soil. And I think that next year we'll be on to something. I really should get my gloves, but I haven't. And this is the last one now, so. I did, in fact, go and grab my gloves. Because now, I'm going to put this grass on this. And then we're going to be done in here. I like having more space in here. Now, the one thing I have to make sure I don't hit my head on them strawberry pots. But I still want them in here. Oh, stinging nettle hit my arm. The first time the stinging nettle got me, it was outside in a pot. And I just knew something was biting me. It was not, it was the nettle. I kept saying, what is biting me? I think it was in a video. And it was the plant. It was the plant stinging me. We'll put these in the tote. All right, so that's what that bed is looking like now. Like I said, I'm gonna start watering it. I did. I forgot to put fertilizer in there. But I tell you what, I'll start fertilizing it with the Comfrey tea as well. Yeah, because I completely forgot to put that granulated fertilizer in there. Also looking at this bed, I need to put some mulch over here. I don't think I have enough grass left for that. But maybe we'll just wait for the leaves since they're in a warmer spot anyway. Also, that's another thing mulch does. In the summer, it helps to keep the soil cool. In the winter, it helps to keep the soil warm. And then of course it holds in moisture, breaks down. I haven't always used mulch. When I first started I did, and I used straw. And I just feel like it does help. I'm not a you have to mulch, you don't have to mulch person, but I do think that it helps. And since the garden is struggling so much this year, I'm doing everything I can to help it. My contacts are getting dry and I need to go and do my motherly duties. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram where I post about the things going on in my garden almost every day. Bye, y'all.